What's up everyone, this is MrKingLiam here, and today I'm bringing to another one of my Yu-Gi-Oh deck profiles. And since the new set Fusion Enforcers is coming out in a few weeks, I thought it'd probably be a good time to start looking at some of the archetypes from the set. Now I might do some I might do a deck profile on LD and Beast, but it depends because I have a feeling they are going to be quite an expensive archetype, but we'll see. But one archetype that I have tested out and have had quite a bit of success with is the Fluffals archetype. Now Fluffals is getting some good new support in Fusion Enforcers, including Fluffal Penguin and the new Fusion, but I'll go into those in a minute. So anyway, let's take you through the deck profile and see what we have, what we're running. First off, I'm running 3 Fluffal Dog. So basically, when this is normal special summon from the hand, you can add 1 Edge, Imp, Saber or Fluffal monster from the deck to your hand, except Fluffal Dog. You can only use this effect once per turn. So this is the searcher of the deck. So it basically helps you to get all your Fluffals and Edge, Imp cards that you need. And yeah, it's definitely good running free, I think. Next up, we have the newest card, and that's Fluffal Penguin. This makes Fluffals quite a good deck in my opinion. Trying out. This is the new card that's being brought out, and it makes Fluffals definitely a lot more playable. So basically, during your main phase, you can special summon 1 Fluffal monster from your hand, except Fluffal Penguin. This effect can only be used once while this card is face up on the field, so make sure it's not broken or anything. If this card is sent to the graveyard as a fusion material for a fusion summon or a Frightfur monster, fusion monster, you can draw 2 cards, then discard 1. You can only use this effect once per turn. So basically, it allows you to get Fluffals onto your board, onto the field a lot quicker. And also, it's technically a draw engine as well when you use this as a fusion material, which you'll be using it quite often. Okay, next up we have Edge Imp Chain. I'm running 3 of these. It has come in handy a couple of times, but obviously you need to run some Edge Imps to make sure you can summon the Frightfur monsters. So basically, Edge Imp Chain is, when this card declares an attack, you can add 1 Edge Imp Chain from your deck to your hand. So a little bit of a searcher, but not quite the same degree, although you probably won't be using that effect as much. However, this one is probably the one you might be more useful. This effect will probably be more useful. If this card is sent from the hand or the field to the graveyard, you can add 1 Frightfur card from your deck to your hand. You can only use 1 Edge Imp Chains effect per turn, and only once during that turn. So, as far as I know, you can use this. I think this effect can be gained with a fusion material because it says if this card is sent from the hand or field to the graveyard, so it doesn't have a condition, so I suspect you can probably fusion summon using this and then get off, and then you can activate Edge Imp Chains effect. And next up, we're running 3 Fluffal Bears. So basically, it's another searcher, but this one's actually quite a good one because this one searches out your one of the key cards in the deck. So basically, you can send this card from your hand to the graveyard, and then you can set 1 Toy Vendor directly from your deck to the spell/trap zone. You contribute this card, then target 1 polymerization in the graveyard added to your hand, and you can only use one of these effects once per turn. Sorry, you can only use 1 Fluffal Bear effect per turn, and only once that turn. So this is definitely quite a handy, quite a handy card to have. Obviously, you want to make sure you get your polymerization. A Toy Vendor definitely is a really good card to get, but I'll explain that in a minute. And now for the other Edge Imp we're running, and this is Edge Imp Sabers. If this card is in your graveyard, you can place 1 card from your hand on the top of the deck. Special summon this card from your graveyard in defense position. So this can be another way to help out getting the Edge Imp card you need for a Frightfur fusion. You can only use this effect once per turn. So yeah, it's quite handy. Also, it can maybe oh sorry, never mind. I was thinking it could recycle. Duh, it can't because you can place 1 card from your hand. Okay, that doesn't make much difference. Next up, we have King of the Swamp. Pretty much a staple in most fusion decks, to be honest. You can substitute this card for any fusion material monster. When you do this, the other fusion material is what's it? Sorry. Oh, sorry, I was misreading that. When you do this, the other fusion material monster must be the correct one. That wording might be a bit confusing. I suspect it means like the other. Oh, okay, sorry. Discard this card from your hand to the graveyard to add the polymerization. So again, the searcher, and the deck is then shuffled. No doubt. When you search something out, it'll always be shuffled. Don't know why they needed that bit. So yeah, this is pretty much a staple in all fusion decks, I'd say. Next up, and now we're rounding off the Fluffals with the last couple. First off, we have Fluffal Owl. So basically, when this is normal special summoned, you can add one polymerization from the hand to the graveyard. Then you can also pay 500 life points and fusion summon one Frightfur monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or so the field as fusion materials. Oh, okay. That's probably why I'm only running one. Mind you, you mainly use this one to get the polymerization out. Next up, we have Fluffal Sheep. So if you control another Fluffal, you can special summon this card from your hand. So that's a quick way to get another Fluffal. So say if you have Fluffal Owl, then you can get Fluffal Sheep or vice versa or anything like that. If you can also, you can return one other Fluffal monster you control to the hand. Special summon one Edge Imp monster from your hand or graveyard. So basically, you can special summon this, then you can target the other Fluffal monster, then bring out an Edge Imp, and then bring out Frightfur. So I think that's quite useful. And the last one, and the last Fluffal we have is Fluffal Wing. Now I'm running 3 of these. If this card is in your graveyard, you control Toy Vendor, which most of the time you will. You can banish this card from your graveyard, then target one Fluffal monster in your graveyard and banish it. And then if you do, draw one card, then you send one Toy Vendor you control to the graveyard. And if you do draw one card, you can only use this effect of Fluffal Wings once per turn. So it's a little bit of a combination. So basically it's one after the other. So basically this helps you get off a lot of your combos in the Fluffal deck. So obviously you're gonna be having a Toy Vendor most of the time. So yeah, so basically this can just get you a lot of draw power basically. So those are all the Fluffal monsters. Now for the spells. 2 instant fusion. Running 2 Frightfur fusion, 1 fusion recovery, 2 polymerization, mainly for the search. Then we're running 1 soul charge, 1 not stop goblin, a fusion substitute. Basically, I mainly use this just in case some of the monsters are in the graveyard. Dark fusion, because there is quite a few dark fusions. Sorry, it wasn't dark. Most of the fusions are fiends, so you can make use of dark fusion. So I just had to double check on that. 2 twin twisters, bit of a no-brainer. Frightfur factory, and obviously the main spell card, 3 Toy Vendor. Now this card is very good in this deck. So basically, once per turn you can discard 1 card, draw 1 card, and reveal it. So, or immediately a little bit of a draw engine. If it is a Fluffal monster, you can special summon 1 monster from your hand, otherwise discard it. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can add 1 Fluffal monster or 1 Edge Imp Sabers from your deck to your hand. So it's got a destruction search effect, which definitely is good, and obviously you'll be running 3 of these. And finally, Solemn Strike and Solemn Warning. Now for the fusions, 2 Frightfur Saber Tiger. So basically, most of these are some of these requires actual Frightfur fusion monsters to bring out. So basically, you'll need to get the smaller ones out, and then you'll be able to bring out this one. So basically, when this is fusion summoned, you can target 1 Frightfur monster in your graveyard, special summon it. All Frightfur monsters you control gain 400 attack. So that's pretty good there. If this card was fusion summoned using 3 or more fusion monsters, it also cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects, so that makes it definitely quite useful. Also, it's a level 8, which comes in handy later. And next up, we have the newest Frightfur fusion, and this is definitely, in my opinion, one of the better ones. Frightfur Kraken. And if I'm correct, it's recently been revealed that it's keeping its name Frightfur Kraken for the TCG. So basically, this requires one Edge-Imp monster and one Fluffal monster. And once per turn, you can target one monster your opponent controls, send it to the graveyard. This card cannot attack your opponent directly during the turn you activate this effect. Also, this card can make a second attack during each battle phase. At the end of the battle phase, if this card's battled, you can change it to defense position, which is good because it has 3000 defense. So this is probably the main Fluffal. Fluffal. This is probably the main Frightfur monster you're probably going to be fusion summoning, because it is definitely got a good effect. I suppose maybe the attack could be a little bit better, but there is ways around this. There is ways around this, I guess. Next up, we have one Frightfur Wolf. So once again, this one requires Edge-Imp Sabers and one Fluffal monster. So basically, each battle phase, this card can attack a number of times equal to the number of fusion monsters used for this fusion summon. So most likely 2, so you can get 2 attacks off with that. Next up, Frightfur Tiger, which, if I'm being honest, if this was based on Five Nights at Freddy's, that would probably be the most like one of the animatronics. So once again, this requires Edge-Imp Sabers and one Fluffal monster. So basically, when this is fusion summoned, you can target cards on the field up to the amount of fusion materials used for a fusion summon, destroy them. So immediately, that can help you clear some of the field. Also, all Frightfur monsters you control gain 300 attack for each Fluffal monster and Frightfur monster you control. So not too bad. Good way to clear the field as well. And finally, just as a random one, we have Fluffal. Sorry, I keep saying Fluffal when it's Frightfur. Frightfur Sheep. If this one has a slightly longer effect, I admit. If this card attacks or is attacked, your opponent cannot activate cards or effect until the end of the damage step. So it's quite handy there. Negates traps and spells and things like that. If this card is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, or if this card in your possession is destroyed by an opponent's card effect and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon this card. So immediately you can. So basically, it gives a way to bring this back quite quickly, and if you do, it gains 800 attack. So basically, you can make this a 2800, which ironically would actually be the most powerful Frightfur in the deck. You can only use this effect of Frightfur Sheep once per turn. So that's definitely a useful option to go for. And the final fusion we're running is Elden Entity Norden. Now, obviously this is coming out before the ban list, which at this rate is probably like flying through space or something, because we still haven't got that. Ban list. Starting to think when it will arrive. At this rate, probably at the end of the year. But Elden will probably be hit. That'll be my guess. So I will suggest a replacement. So basically, it doesn't really need too much explaining. Target one level 4 lower monster in your graveyard, special summon it, but its effects are negated. Now this is mainly just to bring out the rank 4s, I will say. Now we've got the exceeds. We've got number 38, Kiilstofte M7, number 72, Bahamut Shark, and as a result, number 47 combo. I quite like using that combo actually, in fairness. And I can do this because we do have Fluffal Penguin. Dark Rebellion Exceeds Dragon, and one Kiilstofte the Sky Blast Musketeer. So yeah, so overall this is a pretty fun deck to play. I do like these random sort of decks that you come across. So yeah, do I think it has potential? It's definitely I'd say it's a fairly consistent deck, but the problem is with the format. The format is probably going to be Eldians and Zodiacs and decks like that, just mega expensive. That's probably why I won't build Eldians actually, because they'll probably be expensive, even though I'm getting a box of Fusion and Forces. So I don't know, this might be a good alternative. Oh, and just to say, obviously a replacement for Eldian could be a Sea Monster Fluffals. Maybe replacing some of the Exceeds in the deck with some Synchros maybe in the future. So anyway, there was my Fluffal deck profile for February of 2017. Like I said, this is definitely, I'd say this is probably going to be one of the cheaper decks to build over the next format. But I reckon it's probably a good idea that if you get a box of, well, if you get packs or a box of Fusion and Forces, that you keep hold of maybe a Fluffal Penguin and a Frightfur Kraken, because I reckon they'll be good value. So anyway, that was my Fluffal deck. If you enjoyed this deck if you enjoyed this deck profile, then please make sure to like this video and also subscribe to my channel to know when my newest Yu-Gi-Oh deck profiles are coming out, and also be free to check out my other videos as well. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and for now this is MrKingLiam signing out.